The rain fell softly on the shattered windows of an abandoned colony outpost. I had returned to this place not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't stay away. My past had a way of dragging me back, and this time, it was an old uniform folded neatly inside a rusted metal trunk. The uniform was standard issue for Earth's Exploration Corps. Dark blue, reinforced seams, patched elbows, and a chest insignia depicting a circle with 3 intersecting lines, the Unity emblem. Once it was just a symbol of duty. Now, to me, it was a reminder of broken promises and missions gone wrong. I hadn't worn it in years. Retired, forgotten, left to drift in obscurity on a quiet frontier world. But fate had a strange way of laughing at the choices we thought were final. Beginning the encounter. It started when I was scavenging the ruins. The colony had been abandoned decades ago, left after a viral outbreak consumed most of its settlers. The alien jungles had already begun reclaiming the buildings, twisting roots, climbing walls, and fluorescent moss glowing where light no longer reached. I carried the old uniform with me, not out of sentimentality, but because fabric like this was rare and useful. I thought I was alone until I felt the shift. A presence. A faint sound of breath that was not mine. I turned. Standing in the doorway was a girl, or rather, a woman who bore both alien beauty and strange familiarity. Her eyes were enormous, shimmering silver, with flecks of green. Her skin was pale, marked with faint iridescent patterns that shifted when she moved. Hair fell like woven strands of light down her shoulders.
She froze when she saw me.
Or more specifically, when she saw the folded cloth in my hands. Her gaze locked on the insignia. Her breath hitched. And then, before I could speak, she dropped to her knees. This symbol, her voice trembled, accented but clear. You are the one. I blinked, unsure if I had misheard. What are you talking about? I asked, my guard rising. She bowed her head lower, almost reverent. The one who carries the circle of 3. The chosen guardian of the bond. It sounded like myth, ritual, some legend whispered in old temples. But she wasn't mocking. She was trembling. Tears slipped from her silver-green eyes. And that was the moment I realized this wasn't chance. This woman knew something about my past, about the Corps, maybe even about the war that had torn everything apart. Middle, the bond, and the legend. Her name was Elira, a survivor of a race I thought extinct, the Veari, a species once allied with humans during the early expansion era. I had heard whispers about them in reports. Their civilization had collapsed after the siege of Ryannes, when the Dominion fleets burned their homeworld. No survivors, they had claimed. Clearly, the reports had been wrong. As we sat around a dim fire in the ruins, she told me the story. The Unity emblem, our core insignia, was not just a human design. It was older, much older. The Veari called it the Trine Mark, a sacred symbol representing balance, unity, and sacrifice. According to her people, one day someone bearing the mark would rise not as a conqueror, but as the bearer of the bond, the one destined to rebuild what was broken between species. You are the mark, she said, her voice steady despite the emotion in her eyes. That means you were chosen long before you were born. I laughed bitterly. Chosen? Lady, I'm no savior. I'm just a retired soldier with scars I don't care to count. But she didn't laugh. She reached out, her delicate fingers tracing the faded emblem. It does not matter if you believe. The bond believes in you. The words unsettled me more than I cared to admit. Over the following days, I learned more. Elira had wandered for years, one of the last of her kind, searching for the one who carried the mark. Her people's dying elders had told her to find me, though they did not know my name, only the symbol I once carried into battle. And now, here she was. And here I was. But the galaxy wasn't finished with us yet. The threat returns. The Dominion had not forgotten either. Rumors had spread across the border worlds of a new fleet mobilizing, determined to finish what they had started decades ago. When Aelira learned of this, fear shadowed her luminous eyes. If they rise again, my people will never return. The bond will be broken forever. She believed I was the key to stopping it. Me, the soldier who had failed his unit, who had retired in disgrace. I resisted at first. I'm not the one you think I am. I'm not a hero. Her reply cut through my doubt like a blade. Heroes are not chosen because they are ready. They are chosen because they are needed.
Those words haunted me.
Training the forgotten. Something shifted inside me. Against my instincts, I began training again, dusting off old drills, checking my weapons, repairing old comms gear. Aelira watched silently, sometimes joining, showing me movements strange yet graceful, born of her people's fighting arts. Together, we were awkward but effective, a human soldier past his prime, and an alien woman carrying the weight of extinction. The bond between us grew, subtle yet undeniable. I began noticing the small things, the way her iridescent patterns glowed faintly when she laughed, the way she tilted her head when curious, how her voice softened when she spoke my name. She, in turn, asked about Earth, about music, about oceans she would never see. And yet, there was always the shadow of war pressing closer. Climax, the battle of the forgotten outpost. The Dominion came sooner than expected. A vanguard fleet descended, hunting the last remnants of resistance. One of their scouting parties found our outpost. We could have run. We should have. But Aelira stood firm. If we flee now, they will burn everything again. If we fight, perhaps others will hear. Perhaps hope will awaken. For a long moment, I stared at the insignia on my chest, the symbol that had once been just fabric. Then I nodded. We set traps through the ruins, rerouted old power generators, armed turrets long thought dead. I pulled my uniform on again for the first time in years. It fit tighter, rougher, but as I fastened the collar, I felt something stir deep inside, something I had buried with the past. When the Dominion troops arrived, armored and merciless, we were ready. The battle was chaos. Explosions rattled the ruins. Alien war cries echoed through the night. I fought like a man possessed, every movement sharpened by memory and necessity. Beside me, Aelira moved like light incarnate, her strange blades flashing arcs of silver. We weren't supposed to win. 2 against many. But somehow, the ruins themselves seemed to rise with us, the turrets firing in perfect timing, the traps springing as if fate guided them. And in the heart of the fight, I felt it. The bond. Not myth. Not legend. A force, raw, unshakable, that tied us together. My instincts and hers aligned perfectly, as if we shared one mind, one purpose. By dawn, the Dominion squad lay broken. Smoke curled into the sky. We stood bloodied, but alive. Ending, a future reborn. Word of our stand spread faster than we imagined. The resistance picked it up, whispers turning into rallying cries. The bearer of the bond had risen, they said. The symbol had returned. I still didn't believe in destiny. Not fully. But as Aelira stood beside me, her eyes shimmering with hope for the first time in years, I realized it didn't matter what I believed. What mattered was what others believed, and what we could build together.